Greetings, scholars. Miss Gallagher here, your U.S. History teacher with Hillsborough Virtual School. This is a quick overview of 3.06, Know Your Rights. Imagine if the government could limit what you were allowed to read or write. What if the government could forbid you from practicing the religion of your choice? Think about how you would feel if the government could forbid you from wearing your favorite jeans or hat. How would that change your life? This is a fill-in-the-blank exercise regarding the first 10 amendments, also known as the Bill of Rights. You may pause now if you wish to do this activity. What we're looking for is which amendment do you think is the most important?
Today, we're going to talk about the Bill of Rights in just a minute.
Just a minute.
While drafting the Constitution, the framers couldn't agree on how to distribute power. The first 10 amendments, or the Bill of Rights, were a compromise. They keep the federal government in check by ensuring individual liberties and empowering states to create their own laws. The First Amendment prohibits Congress from interfering with freedom of speech, religion, press, and assembly. The Second Amendment guarantees the right to bear arms. Today, there is some debate around the framers' original intent and whether it's still relevant in modern times. The Third Amendment restricts the quartering of soldiers in private homes and rarely comes up today. The next 5 amendments address the rights of the accused. The fourth prohibits law enforcement from searching your home or taking your belongings without a warrant. The fifth says defendants have the right to due process. The sixth and the seventh guarantee the right to a trial by jury in criminal and civil cases, respectively. And the eighth bars excessive fines, as well as punishments deemed cruel and unusual. The ninth and the 10th amendments are less specific. The ninth states that just because a right isn't outlined in the Constitution doesn't mean it isn't a right. And the 10th says any powers that aren't granted to the federal government by the Constitution are reserved for the states. Which amendment do you think is most important in the United States today?
The Bill of Rights affects you. Some governments have harsh restrictions on what people can do or say. In the United States, the Bill of Rights protects individual rights and freedoms. I want to share this map with you. It's from a website called freedomhouse.gov. And if you'll notice the colors, the map legend, not free is purple, free is green. By the time you finish studying the lesson, you should be able to identify the background and purpose of the Bill of Rights and explain why it is important today. Without it, Americans would not be free to speak, worship, or do many other things. So for the activity that you will be presenting, aka submitting, you are going to have a role and a problem and a solution. So the activity is to create a public service announcement. In a recent poll, less than 10% of American adults knew why the Bill of Rights was written. Something must be done to inform people, and you are just the person to do it. You will take on the role of someone who has recently been granted U.S. citizenship. Use your imagination to create your own name and story. As a new citizen, you are excited about the freedoms and rights that your new government protects. You would like to help other citizens, including immigrants like you, understand what these rights mean. There are 3 steps to completing the activity. Step number 1, research. To share your knowledge of the Bill of Rights with others, you will create a public service announcement that will appear around your community. Review the 10 amendments and explore examples of public service announcements to get started. To read all 10 amendments, visit the link that's in your lesson or go to the Bill of Rights Institute. And to see examples of public service announcements, PSAs, visit the Ad Council. So this is the research portion. Do this first. Then prepare. Remember that you need to attract people's attention with a catchy phrase or title. Then you need to keep their attention by being direct and creative. Reading or watching a PSA should only take a minute of people's time. And third, present. This is what you submit as your activity, aka assignment. You can choose to present your public service announcement in many different formats. Here are a few suggestions to get you started. A brochure. Create a brochure about the Bill of Rights. Use photos or drawings tools for illustrations. This is a really good model for a brochure. Take a close-up look at that. Another thing you could do is create a video about the Bill of Rights. Consider what images and information will best inform your viewers. Your video should be 1 to 2 minutes long. Podcast. Create a podcast about the Bill of Rights. Your podcast should be 1 to 2 minutes long. Consider how your tone of voice and possible sound effects might enhance your content. So again, these are just some choices that you have. Do one of these. And here is what is absolutely required, non-negotiable. Your public service announcement must be typed. If you choose to create a video or podcast, the script should be typed and submitted as well. There are 4 elements that should be included in your public service announcement. And they are: 1, your imaginary name. 2, an explanation in your own words of one of the first 10 amendments to the Constitution. An explanation in your own words of why it is important for a person to know the amendment you chose. And 4th, an example of how the amendment would be used today. If you need help, visit the Web 2.0 Tools area for additional presentation ideas. There are many 21st century tools available for creating and submitting work in the online environment. For more information about tools your school recommends, please visit the Resource Tools area in your course or contact your instructor. The rubric is the grading criteria. What we're looking for is you have an imaginary name as part of your content, a catchy title or opening phrase, correct explanation of the amendment in your own words, explanation of why the amendment is important for the citizens to know, written in the student's own words, and a correct example of how the amendment could be used today. And as far as quality, how you will be graded is you have a clear, accurate explanation of one amendment, a correct application of the amendment to one or more relevant current examples, and a clear, accurate explanation of why the amendment is important for students to know. And the third part of the rubric is your skill. Effective sentences, good writing. The work should be well organized, easy to read and comprehend, and has few spelling or grammar errors. This is part of your grade. And I want to thank you very much for listening to this recording today.